Things back. Yeah, I'm back. And a video of mine got taken down, but that's irrelevant. This is new. And I'm pretty sure this is an original idea. I didn't see any videos on this. But this is what if Naruto had Zeraora as his partner. So, Zeraora is a very strong Pokemon. And let me give y'all a little background information. Naruto is a full Namikaze, so he's no longer Naruto Uzumaki, he's Naruto Namikaze. He has an affinity for lightning and wind release. He has Zeraora, of course, and Zeraora and Naruto have this kind of bond like Ash and Greninja did in the series, where like Zeraora and Naruto, when they synchronize to like the max, Zeraora will look like the picture on the left, and Naruto he's gonna have like a dark blue light coming from his eyes, and his eyes are gonna turn a light blue, and like this increases their speed and strength and just overall ability. But other than that, oh, and Naruto isn't gonna have the Nine-Tail since he's a Namikaze. But Naruto's rival is gonna be Kushina and some random person's son. Because, yeah, that's what I decided to do. And let me see if I can find a picture of what he looks like. Hold up. This is what he looks like. He's not full Uzumaki, he's an Uzumaki Nara. And he goes by the name Hikaru Uzumaki. So, yeah, he's gonna be able to use Shadow Possession and stuff. Man, other than that, let's get started. So, we start when the when the village is under attack by the Nine-Tails. And there are two baby boys born at the exact same time, laying next to each other in opposite cribs. And there's 4 people, or 4 figures. 2 males and 2 females. The 2 females are standing with the children, and it looks like as if they're trying to protect them. And the 2 males are fighting the Nine-Tails. So, the yellow-haired male, his name is Minato, or Minato, whatever you guys prefer to call him. And the black-haired man is actually, I forgot Shikamaru's dad's name. I'm gonna have to see what his dad's name is. Shikaku is the other. So, Shikaku, is Hikaru's, father. And Hikaru's actually Shikaku's firstborn son. And his only son. And you'll see why in a second. So, while the Namikaze and the Nara are working together to fend off the Nine-Tails, the Nara will then get slapped away by the Nine-Tails, and as he flies off, he hits a tree and is unconscious for the moment. The Namikaze then continues to hold off the Nine-Tails by himself until a spark of lightning appears above, and there's in the sky is a dark-maned creature. This creature is Luxray. I'll show you guys that in a sec. But this creature would then shoot a large bolt of lightning at the Nine-Tails, hitting it on the top of the head. The Nine-Tails would then point its attention towards Luxray and try to smack it out the ground. But Luxray would swiftly dodge by jumping from one tree to a different. So while Luxray and Minato are attacking the Ninetales from different sides, trying to keep it occupied, one of the females, another yellow-haired female person, was preparing a seal. And the red-haired female sat waiting for the seal to be ready. Minato would then yell out "now" as he jumped down to help the other yellow girl seal the Ninetales into the Uzumaki boy, and the red-haired Kushina would use her chains to hold down the Ninetales. So as they're sealing the Ninetales into the boy Hikaru, the Ninetales then does one last attack and swipes at the child, the redheaded child, and all the adults get in the way, all being impaled. The parents will then talk about how the two boys need to be nice to each other, eat well, and whatnot. Pretty much the same thing Kushina and Minato said, but yeah, all that good stuff. And the three would die, but the Ninetales would be sealed away. Then Shikaku would emerge from darkness and pick up the two boys, seeing his dead wife and dead friends. He would then vow to take care of these boys. And since he has two sons to take care of, I guess, he doesn't really freaking have time for another child, which is why Shikamaru won't be born. So yeah. Now we're gonna do a little time skip to when Naruto and Hikaru are 3. Naruto and Hikaru are just walking around the village, and a couple of villagers started throwing stuff at Hikaru, yelling at him, calling him a demon. And Naruto would yell back, telling them all to shut up. Sorry, hold up. Sorry. And the villagers would then begin chasing after the two boys, throwing rocks and holding sticks. The boys would then run through alleys until they get cornered, and all the villagers then walk up on them. And before they start attacking the boys, they all stop in their tracks. They all start walking backwards, and then they all are then let free from this trance they looked like they were in. They all turned around and ran, and the person that stayed was Shikaku. Naruto and Hikaru both ran to Shikaku, hugging him, saying, "Dad, you came to help us." He would then rub both of the boys' heads and say, "They didn't hurt you, did they?" Naruto would shake his head like, "They didn't touch us, because even if they did, I would beat them up," he would say, grabbing his arm if he was trying to show off his muscle, you know what I'm saying? He's like, and Shikaku would just laugh at the boy's humor, and he would hold both the boys' hands as he walked them home. And when they got to their house, he would then ask the boys if they wanted to train a little bit. Because he doesn't train them to the point where he's working them to the bone. Sorry again, gotta go get groceries. That was a lot of groceries. But yeah, okay. So he doesn't work them to the bone. He just lets them have little sparring matches, and he'll teach them a couple of moves and have them try to learn them. That's all he really does. So, he's just sitting there, and they're having a little sparring match, throwing attacks at each other, and most of them are missing since they're a little inaccurate with their attacks. But Hikaru, being, more patient than Naruto and a lot quieter and more observing, he ends up beating Naruto because, yeah, Naruto is just reckless. Naruto would then get up and look at his father, shaking him, and Shikaku would then look down at Naruto and ask him if he was okay. Naruto would nod his head and he said, "I'm pretty hungry. Can we go get some Ichiraku ramen?" So Shikaku would look for, his little wallet, and then he would take the boys out for some ramen. And we're gonna do another time skip. It's gonna be a 4-year time skip, so the boys are 7. And these 7-year-olds are pretty good at taijutsu. Like, they're just above a low getting, like, with their taijutsu. And they've both found out their affinities, which Hikaru's affinity is fire and air, so yeah. And they both learned Wind Bullet just because Shikaku thought it would be a pretty good technique to teach them because it's really effective and easy to learn. So they both know Wind Bullet. And he didn't really feel like teaching them any other stuff. And since they both have wind affinity, why not just teach them wind stuff? So, yeah, he thought that, which is pretty smart for, So, Naruto is 7. He actually goes out by himself to go get some snacks for him and Hikaru because they planned on sitting out on the roof watching the stars. So when he's walking, he ends up going into a store and he sees a couple of villagers from the years before. And he tries to stay low so they won't see him. And he purchases a couple of snacks and leaves. But as he leaves, 2 of the villagers step in front of the doorway, not letting him out. They would then push Naruto and look him dead in the eyes. It's like, it's the demon's brother. Let's get him. So the villagers would then pick up Naruto by his shirt, which he's wearing what Boruto is wearing there. And Naruto, when he's picked up by his shirt, he would like coil around the villager's arm and like start choking him out by pushing his legs up against the villager's throat. The villager would then fall to one of his knees, trying to make Naruto get off of him, and Naruto would then twist his arm and stand on top of him. The other villager would then throw a punch at Naruto, knocking him into one of the little shelves, and he would throw another punch at Naruto, which Naruto dodged and kicked him in the back of the knee, making him fall down. And then he would kick him in his back and start running. The villagers would start chasing after him, and he would keep running until he got into that same alley. And when he got into this alley, he froze with fear, seeing as last time he wasn't able to do a thing, and now he wouldn't be able to do a thing. So as the villagers enclosed him, a spark of lightning appeared, and Zeraora would be standing in front of them all. They all would be caught off guard since Zeraora just appeared from thin air. Zeraora's palms would start like sparking with lightning, and in the swift movement he disappeared from their eyesight, put his palm on one of their stomachs, and just like let a big shockwave of lightning blow them all back. And there was like at least 10 villagers by now, because Naruto was running for a very long time. Naruto would look at Zeraora and think Zeraora was there to hurt him, so he would cover up his face. Zeraora would just wait for him to move his hands, and Zeraora would pick him up and take him to his house. So, let me explain this. So, the Namakazes in this universe have, well, only a select few get Pokemon companions of that of lightning abilities. And that's why Minato had Luxray, because Luxray is a lightning Pokemon. Yeah, I just wanted to explain that. And when he takes him home, he would then disappear after he knocked on the door, and Shikaku would grab Naruto, who was just still curled up in a ball. When Naruto realized he was in his house with his father, he uncoiled himself. He uncoiled himself and began to hug his father. He would tell him all about what had happened, and even telling him about the part with zeraora. And Shikaku, knowing about, the freaking Namikaze thing, because he was friends with Minato, he would tell him that it's a normal thing for him. And Naruto at first would be confused, but he would come to terms with this. And Hikaru, who is also 7, would be kind of jealous since he didn't get one. But Naruto would then start bragging to Hikaru's, and Hikaru would get angry, but they would then start to laugh it off after, since they have a very good bond, they're real tight, bro. And so they then go out to the woods behind their house and begin to train on their kunai, accuracy, their jutsu, because they only know the wind bullet. Yeah. Sorry, they needed my help. But where was I? So they were working on their wind bullet jutsu, and Hikaru's wind bullet is a little bit stronger than Naruto's. It's been able to rip through trees, when Naruto's has only been able to crack the trees. So this would make Naruto jealous. And Hikaru said, well, now we both have something the other wants, as he stuck his tongue out. And finally, almost no interruptions. It's like I'm saying, Hikaru stuck his tongue out at Naruto, and Naruto would just get angry, and he would say, how about we spar? Hikaru would be like, alright. So they both get in their fighting positions, and Naruto would dash at Hikaru. He would throw a punch at Hikaru, which Hikaru would just redirect in a different direction, making Naruto tumble and rolled. And when he rolled, he turned back around, and jumped at Hikaru, punching him in the back of the head. And Hikaru would turn around, and then they would start throwing punches and kicks at each other while the other one blocked or dodged the attack. So now they're at a standstill. Both would jump back, and they would both yell, wind style, wind bullet, while weaving handstands. 2 wind bullets from both sides would clash, but Hikaru's wind bullets would just overpower Naruto's and go straight for Naruto. Naruto would then pick up 2 kunai and launch them at the weakened wind bullets, and making the kunai pierce through the wind bullets but fall straight to the ground right after. This is how strong Hikaru's freaking wind bullets are. It can, it withstands one of his wind bullets, and it can completely stop a kunai being thrown at high speeds. So, yeah. They then dash at each other, and both their fists will clash, and they would keep throwing attacks at each other. Naruto would then fake out Hikaru, pretending he was going to throw a punch at Hikaru's rib, but then hitting him with a massive uppercut. He would then do a 360, when he jumped, he did a 360 spin, and did that, when he spinned and came back around, he lifted his leg up and kicked Hikaru straight to the ground. And when Hikaru hit the ground, He stood there, and Naruto started to walk up to Hikaru. When Hikaru stood up, he had his hands together, making a sign. And when Naruto looked down, he was in control, like he was being controlled by Hikaru's shadow possession. Hikaru would smirk and say, "This is what I learned from Dad while you were training for your taijutsu." Naruto would then be angry. He would say, "That's cheating. I didn't get to learn a new jutsu." And Hikaru would think about this. He's like, "I guess you're right." And he would release the shadow possession jutsu. They would both look at each other, and then they would begin fighting once more. They fought for almost 20 more minutes after this, until they both were tired. And Naruto threw the last punch, but it barely did anything to Hikaru. And Hikaru put his hand up in the air, being smarter than Naruto, and let it drop down, knocking Naruto out. But then Hikaru would then plop down on Naruto, and they would both be laid there. And Chikaku, hearing all the ruckus, would have been watching for a while, and he would pick them up and brought them back in the house. Naruto is the first to wake up, and he looks around, seeing that he's back inside the house. And he instantly runs off to go train and figure out a new jutsu. And when he's running through the woods, hopping from tree to tree, he then runs into Zeraora again. And Zeraora is drinking from a pond. He jumps down and looks at Zeraora, and Zeraora will look at him. They would stare at each other for a couple of seconds before Naruto would ask, "Can you teach me that move you did on the villagers?" Zeraora would look at him, and he would nod his head. So Zeraora knows like they have to do hand signs and stuff, but personally Zeraora doesn't. So Zeraora would like show the hand signs that Naruto would have to do. And Naruto would copy these hand signs over and over again for 10 minutes straight. He then will try to do the actual jutsu for hours, only being able to get a little bit of sparks here and there. Zeraora would then think to himself and try to put Naruto in a dangerous situation to see if he's better under pressure. So Zeraora would create like massive amount of lightning in his hand, and he would lunge at Naruto. And Naruto, being unprepared, he did the only thing he could think of doing, and he tried to do the only thing he could do, and he would do the jutsu. And he put massive, like all his chakra into it, and like the lightning just raged everywhere. The lightning spread about 5 feet on both sides and 6 feet into the air. And Naruto's palm clashed with Zeraora's palm. And both of these attacks would nullify each other. Naruto would be excited because he did it, and Zeraora would like nod in like appreciation, or not appreciation, in like, how do you say this? Like, not like, yeah, you did it pretty much. He's like, good job, pretty much. And Naruto was like, I need a name for this jutsu. And him being 7, he thinks of the most basic name ever. Lightning Palm. So I'm going to add that to the roster real quick so I don't ever forget. Alright, I added it to the freaking moveset. And so Naruto returned home, seeing as it was getting dark outside. And when he's walking home, he meets Hikaru halfway. And Hikaru had asked him where he had been all day. Naruto just smirked and said, nowhere, as he walked past Hikaru, and Hikaru then followed him. Hikaru said, I know that smile. Where did you go? Naruto would just ignore him, keeping that same grin on his face until they got home. And he laid down, just talking to himself, and went to sleep. Now we're gonna go to Hikaru's perspective. Hikaru's gets woken up by a voice in his head. This voice is a deep voice, and it's telling him to destroy things. Hikaru asks his voice who it is, but it doesn't respond, and it just keeps telling him to destroy something. And then Hikaru loses consciousness. The Ninetales has temporarily taken over Hikaru's body, and this gave Hikaru a massive boost, boosting him to tuning power level. So he goes to where Naruto's sleeping. He drags him out of bed, and Naruto's confused at what his brother is doing. Naruto would then get thrown against the wall by Hikaru, and Hikaru would weave the hand signs and quietly say, "Wind style, wind bullet." 3 wind bullets would be shot at Naruto, and Naruto would just barely dodge these wind bullets. Shikaku would then wake up and try to make Hikaru snap out of it, and Hikaru would just kick Shikaku away. And Shikaku would get back up and try to restrain Hikaru, but he just couldn't keep him from destroying stuff. And he doesn't want to hurt his son, so he doesn't attack him. So Naruto would then wave the hand signs and yell, "Lightning ball!" He would dash at Hikaru, but Hikaru would just catch his hand and throw him into the ceiling. Zeraora would be at the same pond he was, or lake, when Naruto had came to him, and he would get this heart-wrenching feeling, and he would run to where Naruto lives, faster than anyone has ever seen. And not really, because there's still people faster than Zeraora as it stands right now, but faster than anyone in the village has seen so far. So he makes it to the house in a minute, and he was pretty far away. He goes to the door and he kicks it down, and he sees Hikaru getting ready to just end Naruto's life. And Zeraora's eyes would spark with lightning, and in his palms, lightning would build up. And as the lightning builds up, Zeraora launches, thrusts his arms out, and 2 lightning bolts would hit Hikaru straight in the chest. Hikaru would then get up and dash at Zeraora. He would then try to throw a punch at Zeraora, but Zeraora would just smack him with ease. Hikaru would be getting beaten by Zeraora, and this would make Kurama mad. Zeraora would just continue beating on Hikaru until Hikaru returned back to normal. And since everyone was still knocked out pretty much, because Shikaku got knocked out by Kurama or Hikaru, he just left. Now we're going to do another time skip to when they became 12. So, over the years, Naruto hasn't been shy to have Zeraora around, and Zeraora hasn't been shy to be around. So he's been training Naruto and Hikaru. So they're both they're really strong. And freaking Naruto has learned a jutsu called Kami, which creates a lightning werewolf, and the werewolf will pretty much just attack you. Pretty much that's what werewolves do. And Hikaru has had a fire style teacher as well, so he learned the fireball jutsu. And they both learned Wind Sphere, which it looks like the Rasengan, but it looks like it's a tornado inside of it. So, I'm gonna add these two moves to the roster. Oh dang, I think it was recording through all that. Oh, well, anyway, since it was recording, y'all saw me add it, hopefully. And, Naruto and Hikaru would be in their house. And now Naruto's wearing this outfit. And Hikaru's wearing his outfit that he was seeing, that I showed you guys in the picture. And they would wave goodbye to their father, Shikaku, as they walked into class. And when they walked into class, they look around and almost all the seats are empty. They must have been there early. There was only 2 people that they know that they knew were in the classroom. It was Sasuke and Sakura. Sasuke had been there because he always goes to the academy early. And Sakura had been there because she had seen Sasuke, so she just decided to follow him. So Naruto would take his seat next to Sasuke, and Hikaru would take his seat right above Naruto. And a couple minutes passed, and all the seats began to fill up. And every single girl in the class were looking over in Sasuke, Naruto, and Hikaru's direction. Naruto was confused on who they were looking at, whether it was Sasuke, Hikaru, or himself. But they were looking at all of them. Since Naruto isn't at the bottom of his class, and nor is Hikaru. Both Naruto and Hikaru are the top students in the class. They're tied in power. And freaking Sasuke is the second highest in the class. So, while everybody is like just sitting there, today is the day where everyone takes the graduation exams. So Hikaru goes up there, no problem, and does it. Seeing as even if the freaking Ninetales was messing with his chakra, Hikaru has already been able to do jutsu, so he's got a hang of it, and he was able to do it. Naruto went up there, and without no restraints holding him back, he just did it with ease. So did Sasuke, and so did everyone else that passed. So after everyone had passed, they're like, all right, we'll give you like your headbands, tomorrow. No, actually, they gave them to them that day. And they said, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow for you guys to, pick your teams. So, as they're walking out the building, Sasuke looks at Naruto and asks Naruto if he wanted to fight. See, instead of Naruto always challenging Sasuke and trying to beat him, Sasuke is always trying to beat Naruto. And Itachi, she still kills the clan, but before he killed the clan, Sasuke would always tell him about how he lost to Naruto or Hikaru, and Itachi didn't want him to be weaker than anybody, just in case that the people he's weaker than, tried to hurt him, he would be able to defend himself. So he actually trained Sasuke. So Sasuke is like close to unlocking his Sharingan. Like real close. So Naruto gets challenged by Sasuke, and Hikaru would look at Naruto and he would say, "Don't accept it." And Naruto would accept it anyway. So they would go out to the back, and everybody would be surrounding them. But no one would chant for either, seeing as they're both two of the most popular kids in the class. Sasuke would charge at Naruto, throwing a punch at Naruto, but Naruto would dodge. Sasuke would then throw a kick at Naruto, but Naruto would dodge as well. Naruto would keep dodging all of Sasuke's attacks until Sasuke got fed up, jumped back and yelled, "Fire style! Fireball jutsu!" Naruto would then yell, "Wind style! Wind bullet!" And since wind makes fire, like it makes the fire hotter and bigger and stuff, when the wind bullets went through the fireball, they went through so fast and they were so strong that they actually harnessed the fireball, like some of the fireball, and became flame bullets, I guess. And one hit Sasuke in the shoulder, another hit him in the chest, and the other one just barely grazed him. Sasuke would fall down, but instantly get back up. He would get into the fighting stance and pull out his kunai. And Naruto has been practicing kenjutsu over this time. So he pulls out his sword and blocks Sasuke's kunai. And Sasuke would jump back and throw 3 kunai at Naruto. Naruto would deflect all the kunai with his sword. Naruto would then disappear from everyone's sight, appearing right behind Sasuke and chopping him on the neck, knocking him out. He would then look at Sakura, and Sakura would stare him into his eyes and say, "You cheated, I know you did." Naruto wouldn't care, and he'd say, "Take Sasuke home," or wherever it is that he stays at. And she would pick him up, and he would walk away. And everyone, seeing as the fight was over, they all left. And so did Naruto and Hikaru. And when they got back to their house, they were greeted by Zeraora and Shikaku, who had already made them some lunches. He would ask them how their day went, and they would both reply with, "It went good, and we passed our graduation exams. So we got our headbands." And Naruto would show his headband, which looked like the regular leaf headband. But he was like, "Oh, speaking of my headband," he went to the back of his room, and he was back there for a while. And he came back with a gold-plated headband with a light blue color matching his outfit. He's like, "Sorry, I just had to change it. I wanted it to match my look." And Hikaru would just laugh at Naruto, saying, "You're so picky, you know that?" Naruto would say, "Hey, you can't blame me. A guy likes what a guy likes." And Shikaku would then burst out in laughter, laughing at the 2 boys. But then Hikaru was like, "Well, I've gotta go. I'm hanging out with a friend of mine." Naruto would then look at Hikaru and say, "Are you hanging out with Choji again?" And Hikaru would nod his head. He's like, "Don't eat too much, and if you have leftovers, bring them back." Hikaru would jump out through the window and go meet up with Choji. Naruto would look at Shikaku and say, "Well, I'm free all day, Dad, so do you want to do anything?" And Shikaku was like, "Well, I did get these 3 tickets, but since Hikaru was gone," he would then look at Zeraora. "You want to go with us?" Zeraora would nod his head, saying as he's never been to a cinema before, and he wants to go. So the 3 would walk off to the cinema and enjoy a very good movie about ninjas. Zeraora liked this the most though, seeing as he was always fascinated by ninjas. This is why he took a liking to Naruto, because Naruto wanted to be a ninja. Well, he is a ninja now. And so they then start to walk home, and they go to sleep. And Shikaku would wake up to the door opening, and he would see Hikaru. He would ask Hikaru why he came home so late, and Hikaru said, "Sorry, some guys were messing with Choji, and we kind of got into a fight." And he's like, "Well, you're okay, aren't you?" He would nod his head, and he's like, "Well, that's all that matters." And Hikaru would then go to bed as well. The next day, Naruto would wake up early, which is unusual for Naruto, unless it was on accident. He would then rush to Hikaru's room and wake him up. Hikaru would ask him, "Why do you wake him up so early?" And Naruto said, "We gotta be the first ones to school. And if we're the first ones to school, this might mean our sensei just might come early." And he was like, "I guess you're right." And he would get out of his pajamas and dress into actual clothes. And they would walk to school. Shikaku and Zeraora hadn't even woken up yet. So when they did, they were surprised that the boys were already gone. And as Naruto and Hikaru sat in their seats waiting for the rest of the students, after I'd say around 20 minutes, the rest of the students came, because they got there before school really even started. So they were just there, sitting there for 20 minutes, and then everyone else came into the class. And then Iruka would start saying the teams. And so since Shikamaru isn't here, Sakura is going to be taking the place of Shikamaru. Because, yeah, I have better plans for Team 7. So, you would say Team 7, Sasuke, Naruto, and Hikaru. All the people that had graduated would be pretty angry, saying that they're the 3 best in the class. So, why did they have to be on the same team together? And Iruka would say, well, it's because the Hokage himself requested it, which is Hiruzen. He's like, he didn't want any other children messing up these 3's potential, seeing as he thinks they are Hokage material. So, like, yeah, whatever. And no one was okay with this. Then all the Jonin senseis come in, besides Team 7's. They wait there for an extra hour until Kakashi finally made it. He would then introduce himself to the 3, and the 3 would introduce themselves. And he would take them onto the roof to talk about their goals and what they like and dislike. Naruto would say, dang, that fell. Naruto would say, Hikaru is one of the only things he likes other than ramen and his dad and Zeraora. He would say his dislikes are Sasuke, bullies, and criminals. He would say, then he would say, my dreams is just to be the strongest shinobi. And Kakashi would then say, like, the Hokage? Naruto would shake his head no. He was like, no, that's not my dream. That's my brother Hikaru's dream. I don't want to be Hokage. I just want to be the strongest. And Kakashi would nod his head. Sasuke would have the same goals, but another part to killing the Itachi. And he said, and my dream is to surpass Naruto and Hikaru. And to be able to beat them. So, then, freaking, Naruto and Hikaru would kind of laugh under their breath, seeing as, like, they're like, Sasuke, you're not going to be able to beat us. And he's like, well, I only have one last thing to say. Don't eat tonight, or you're gonna puke tomorrow. Because tomorrow we're taking the bell test. That's where I'm gonna end this off here. Had to make the video extra long. But other than that, Sage Watabi. Psych, that's a YouTuber I used to watch. But yeah. Blazing Sphinx out.